Perhaps one of the most difficult moments of any interview or hearing or press conference is when you have to face your own words and say, hey, you know what? That crazy stuff I said in public 5-6 years ago, I no longer believe that.
And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's interesting.
The problem is that you can't just say it like that in spite of the clip that you just watched. But we're going to address that in a minute. But just yesterday, I made a video about Elon Musk no longer believing that AI is going to nurture killer robots because, well, that would be bad for his business. But now we have one of the American left's most controversial figures, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, saying that woke one, which is referring to the insane social justice activism that appeared during COVID, was just crazy. I mean, she's obviously distancing herself from that. But we remember the strong identity-centered language, the cancel culture, the DEI pushes, and one in particular, which is the one that's going to come up, Defund the Police. But before we address that, there's something that AOC really doesn't want to. She doesn't want to endorse or have anything to do with Francesca Hong from the Democratic Socialists of America, who's running for governor of Wisconsin. I think that she already lost the primary. But I don't want to spend too much time on Hong, but let's just say that she's batshit crazy. She makes AOC look sane. I most likely will make a video about her soon. But the thing is that AOC is asked expressly, why didn't she endorse Hong? And watch the next clip and pay attention to the exact words that she uses when she talks about the endorsement.
So you have Wisconsin coming up next, Francesca Hong, who is the Democratic Socialists of America supported candidate for governor. You haven't endorsed her. Are you going to?
No, I haven't endorsed in that race. My focus has been in winning back the Congress, winning back the House, and positioning ourselves to have the best chance possible to win the Senate. So I've been focused on those legislative.
Notice that the way she frames her endorsement statement is absolutely, completely devoid of the words Francesca Hong. AOC's words were literally, no, I haven't endorsed in that race. She doesn't even use the pronoun her, as in endorse her. And she immediately goes on to say that she's focused on Congress. I mean, that's the most elegant way that you can get away with saying that you're not endorsing her. But if you look at the words themselves, she makes it sound like she hadn't made up her mind. And that's one way of saying something without saying something. By the way, if you are a CEO, founder, political leader, or senior advisor preparing for a consequential interview, debate, or testimony, this is the work that I do privately. I map the vulnerabilities, anticipate the second and third questions, and pressure test the answers until they remain credible under scrutiny without making you sound terrified or scripted. So if one answer can change your outcome, click the link in the description and let's talk. But coming back to AOC, she's not going to get away with this so easy because statements like abolish prisons and abolish the police, which by the way is something that she has said more or less in the past, that has been her stance. In 2021, she said, and I quote, I want to abolish our carceral system. And she was one of the poster girls for Defund the Police. But what happens when all these Democrats seem to want to just walk away from that? Notice how she replies to Francesca Hong making these statements.
What do you make of those controversial statements I'm sure you've seen? I mean, she's, the Thanksgiving dust up. Mm-hmm. She says she doesn't, still believe that, but, the abolish prisons, abolish police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won. Mm-hmm. How do you get around that? I mean, those are not positions that are supported by most of America.
I mean, I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized. Yeah. But these races ultimately are local and all politics are local. My understanding is that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot of that.
Right, she's moved away from it.
Yeah, those words, these races ultimately are local and all politics are local. That is also an elegant way of saying, I have nothing to do with this basket case of a woman. And in all cases, she has walked back all that. She has told her electorate that it was just a phase, I guess. She got carried away with Black Lives Matter. But the most important lesson here is that AOC is making sure to contain the radioactiveness of Hong in a way that doesn't affect her. And notice so far how she has addressed her non-endorsement and how she frames whatever Hong has said as local or past tense. Which brings us to the actual "woke one was crazy" line. And for the following clip, it's important that you notice how AOC frames, connects one idea to another that have nothing to do with each other.
And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy. Okay, that's interesting.
And I think that what's important is that we have to assess what
was it? I mean, did the
candidate
movement go
is
too
saying now.
far with some of those positions? I mean, you briefly supported the idea of defunding the police.
Well, I think that during this time and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns.
Yeah.
And I think that the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place.
So, some tactics that AOC is using here. The first one is mentioned in COVID. This big disruptive event, which was, according to her words, a huge opening of the Overton window, which means that a series of ideas that the public would usually consider insane were actually considered. But then she says that doors were open to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you can help me in the comments, but I have no idea how defunding the police can get anyone to a better place. And most important, what the hell does it have to do with COVID? But that's just me.
And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful.
Okay, so the discussions were fruitful. That's a win, I guess. But notice how she has made all this nebulous, vague statement away from the defund the police words. But to be fair, she does address crime immediately after that. Just, maybe not the way that you would expect.
I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that, during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on in this moment.
Yeah, again, she wants to lower crime. She doesn't mention defund the police, of course. But the most critical part is that rhetoric from that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. I really want you to see how she manipulates the framing. It's not that Democrats have magically changed their stance because they simply can't explain why, and since they can't explain why, they have to distance themselves from the obvious, batshit crazy rhetoric, and that's why AOC frames those previous words as product of difficult times. We're crazy during COVID. We just wanted to find solutions to those times. Yeah, sure. Obviously, for anyone with half a brain, you will realize that they use that event as carte blanche to push a number of agendas. And now they want to retcon the narrative as in, those ideas were product of that time. We don't think like that anymore. Of course not. Which is, of course, really disingenuous. But it's the way that she can talk about topics without addressing them, and most important, pretending that they no longer have those insane thoughts. Now, if people are going to actually believe AOC, that is another thing. But at least, in this case, you learn how to spot some misleading tactics that politicians use all the time. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Body Language Guy. Much love and bliss.